Hey, everybody! The trial is starting. Mr. Natsume, do you have anything to say? They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits! Good gracious, what's haunted? My house! All sorts of weird things happened there. The tenant before me died. A woman was stabbed outside. My neighbor's been poisoned. And me, I've almost been killed over and over again. Wow, this sounds like a terrible place to live. So after returning from the victim's room, he lit his gas stove and climbed into bed. Then the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me. This is the first I've heard about somebody trying to kill you last night. And yeah, the point is I didn't try to kill my neighbor. Okay? No, seriously, I want to hear more about this attempted murder. It seems like it would be important if somebody tried to kill both tenants in the building at the same time. On the same night. Relatively the same time. So Mr. Shamspear was poisoned through tea. The tea was brought, yeah, by the defendant. Mr. Natsume did bring tea to his neighbor. His neighbor was poisoned. You know, it's possible that he brought tea down and then somebody poisoned that tea later? Or the tea got poisoned in some other way? I mean, Soseki drank the tea and he didn't get poisoned. The public pump was frozen. Yeah, that is new information. Okay, so I have to cross-examine witnesses at least once, according to the law. Oh, no objections, my lord. Yes. Witness testimony. The catastrophic night. It was around 9 o'clock that evening I visited my neighbor, took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room around 11. My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me, you know, if he was poisoned by my tea. Oh, no, I think strychnine takes some time to have an effect. People don't die immediately after taking it. Victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guests left. My argument still stands. Ooh, that's a pretty solid rebuttal from the Scotland Yard inspector. Yes, so we have checked the teacups, right? Have we confirmed there were traces of poison in the one teacup? What do you mean you haven't examined the teacups? Why not? My learned friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Why? There wasn't any tea left over. Well, couldn't you have examined the teacups? The teacups, not necessarily the tea. Okay, I guess they do need the tea to check for poison. Fine. Well, that's unfortunate. Could we examine the victim's lips then? Maybe? Because we have the teacups right here. We can examine them. They look very chipped. Like, I could see cracks and everything. Okay, Sham Spear is drinking from that cup. It's stained on the inside. Looks like Ryunosuke just drinks a lot of tea very quickly. Okay, well we've got a little line of tea on the inside. That seems important. And Ryunosuke loves drinking his tea as quickly as possible. So we've got this information. No tea ring in Mr. Natsume's cup. Tea ring in the other cup. That seems very relevant because we were just talking about, hey, is there any tea left over? Well, we've got a ring left in the cup. Couldn't that have been tested? Look at the jury, my friend. You can see it in their faces. Yes, they know he's guilty. Your client's fate is sealed! Dude, I haven't even started my cross-examination. Maybe you could stop calling victory? And the jurors apparently are staring angrily at me. I can't let them beat me down. I won't. Man, that angry glare of Van Zeek's scary. Let's just press Mr. Natsume's statements. They weren't good friends. That was actually the first night they had ever met each other and talked. I think that was the point Ryunosuke was trying to get at. Yeah. Really? You think you could have understood Shakespeare? Puh! You don't even speak our language correctly. Van Zeeks? Not nice. Yeah, so they first met around 6 o'clock. Yeah, why would he purposely try to kill his neighbor after a brief discussion of Shakespeare? So they did have a heated literary debate. It might even be more heated than the tea. So who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? So they decided to reenact the fight between Romeo and Juliet. I don't think they had a big fight in that play. Yeah. It's sort of a romantic play where they get married. They don't, like, wrestle each other. Granted, there is a lot of fighting in that play. There's, like, sword fighting. But not between Romeo and Juliet. They do not sword fight each other. So, that's very off topic. The important point is that you guys were having tea together. Yeah, and there was no sign of tea inside that guy's room, so tea must have been a luxury for him. So it's like he was just trying to be a nice neighbor. No traces of the tea. Alright, very nice of Mr. Gyarados to confirm when these things happened. Alright, the victim did confirm that he was the one who locked the door. I love how Soseki is acting like he's never heard this before when Gregson said that during the initial testimony. He said this is a delayed poison. How long does it take? 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Violent convulsions, cramping, stiffness. Sounds very unpleasant. Yeah, 30 minutes is definitely long enough for somebody to get up and lock the door. Kind of gets rid of Mr. Soseki's alibi. And hey, what do you know? We have a medical report. Really, this should have been presented earlier. I want to check this new evidence. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great. That's great. So let's take a look at this. Okay, cause of coma, toxic effects, high likelihood of the substance having been mixed in with his tea. Poisoning occurred around 1:30. 1:30 though. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch, which broke when he collapsed. So does that actually fit? Because I thought we just said the poisoning happened, like, he left at 11. Okay, so he left the room around 11. The evidence said the poisoning took place around 1:30. So those times don't work. Let me present this evidence at that statement. Okay, I'm confirming both of these pieces of information are correct. Because we've got a contradiction here. There's like a 2 to 3 hour gap. I'm surprised you didn't notice it yourself, Gregson. Okay, so the poison, about 1:30. So Natsume left about 11. So the poisoning happened 2.5 hours after Mr. Natsume left. That seems to clear him from all suspicion! Yes! Good point, Ryunosuke. I love how they both wiggle waggle at the same time. It's like they've been practicing. But Van Zieks appears unfazed. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind's wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice in this luncheon. You're thinking about lunch instead of paying attention to the trial? Wow, Van Zieks. I hate to shatter illusions, but you appear to be chasing a phantom idea. Is it so hard to imagine the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? Okay, so you're saying this guy waited 2.5 hours before drinking the tea? And in Japan, we like to drink tea when it's still hot. Yes, but here in England, there's nothing more refreshing than cold tea. What? Well, for example, somebody else could have come visited the victim. That's possible, right? And he could have tried to kill himself. That's also possible.
Objection!
Look, he denied suicide. Yes. Yes.
Objection!
It'd be nice if he could testify on his own behalf so we could tell this information, because I'm not privy to this information. I don't have a list of everything he said to the police. Apparently he did talk to the police for quite some time. There's a carriage outside. Ah! Is that the carriage carrying Mr. Shamspear? Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. Woo! A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? William Shamspear, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. Ryunosuke is like, what's he doing here? I was just saying we should bring him in here for questioning, and now I'm surprised that he's actually here so I can question him. Like, this is actually great news for me. Right? Good news for me. Curious to discover what we'll hear from the victim himself, and he looks like a very happy, fun-time fellow. Happy am I, Shamspear, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. What? I still have my own tale to tell. I have a tale of worse woe. I was talking about how I almost got killed that night. It seems like that would be important. No, Mr. Natsume. Maybe you should just go hide in the corner. We don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from the victim.